On the Talk with Timmy podcast. Today's episode is titled Don't Wait Until It Is Personal. Today I want to touch on something I feel we often overlook. Yet, it shapes so much of how we treat one another. The tendency to only care when something personally affects us. Have you noticed how people can be dismissive of an issue until suddenly it touches their own family? For example, some men won't take women's struggles seriously until it is their own daughter being mistreated. Likewise, some women won't think about how draining it is for a man to always carry the financial weight until their son is struggling under the same pressure. It is as if we need pain to knock on our doors before we start caring. But that mindset is dangerous. And why? Because it means we are willing to ignore injustice until it finally lands in our own backyard. And by then, it may be too late. We need to normalize caring for one another. Not because it is our blood, but because we share the same humanity. Now let's talk about men and selective care for women. Let's start with the men. How many times have you heard this phrase? If anyone ever did this to my daughter, I would. But here's the question. Why do you need to picture your daughter before you recognize that women deserve respect, safety, and dignity? Why is it so hard to see every woman as someone else's daughter already? The truth is, a woman doesn't need to be your daughter, your sister, or your wife for you to treat her with respect. She's already someone else's child. She's already a human being in the first place. When men dismiss women's experiences until it's personal, they create a society where harm has to be close to home before it feels real. That's not empathy. That's delayed realization. And delayed realization often comes at the expense of someone else's pain. Now let's pick on the women this time around. Women and selective care for men. Let's turn the lens towards the women. Many women enjoy when men take on the full financial load, never stopping to ask if they are drained or struggling. But the moment it is their son, suddenly the narrative changes. I don't want my son wasting all his money on a woman. Wow. So here's the irony. Fairness only matters when it is your son. If you wouldn't want your son to be taken advantage of, then don't take advantage of someone else's son either. Selective empathy works both ways. Just as women deserve respect without needing to be your family, men deserve care and fairness without needing to be your bloodline. Now let's take a look at selective number 3. The root of selective empathy. At the heart of all of this, something I call selective empathy. And selective empathy is dangerous because it blinds us. When we only care about an issue once it's personal, we end up being silent while others suffer. And silence is complicity. I remember the story of the young lady on the train who got stabbed and nobody stood up. Nobody did anything. If it was someone's family, I'm sure they were going to react. By the time it reaches us, our child, our loved ones, our family, the damage is already too deep. Think about it. How many broken systems could have been fixed if we cared before it got personal? How many lives could have been saved if we didn't wait until it was our own tragedy? Empathy is not about waiting until life forces you to understand. It is about choosing to see humanity, even when it is not your direct experience. Why this matters for our society? Society cannot grow if fairness is always conditional. If respect only comes when the issue touches us personally, we create a circle where everyone ignores problems until they suffer from them. That's why communities collapse, relationships fail, and injustice spreads. Because too many of us are waiting for it to get personal before we act. But imagine a world where we didn't wait. Imagine a world where men respected women not because they had daughters, but because women are human. Imagine a world where women cared about men's well-being, not because of their sons, but because men are human too. That's how you build healthier relationships, stronger communities, and a more balanced society. How do we break free from selective empathy? Number one, self-reflection. Ask yourself, am I only caring because this affects me or because it is the right thing to do? That question alone can shift your perspective. 2, practice fairness daily. Make it a conscious effort. Don't wait for personal connection. Whether in friendship, whether in workplace or a relationship, give people the same respect you would give your own loved ones. Number 3, challenge the narrative. When you hear someone say, if that were my daughter or my son, remind them, it is already someone's daughter or somebody's son. Number 4, teach the next generation. Let us raise children to understand that empathy and fairness are universal values, not gender-based privileges. Boys and girls should both know respect is not negotiable. It is a must. And 5, speak up early. Don't wait until harm touches you before you address it. Your voice could prevent someone else's pain. As I close this episode, I want to leave you with this. Humanity itself should be enough reason to care. You don't need it to be your daughter before you respect a woman. You don't need it to be your son before you protect a man. You don't need it to be your story before you become compassionate. When we normalize caring for each other, not by bloodline, not by gender, but simply by humanity, society becomes healthier for all of us. So please, don't wait until it hits your home. Don't wait until it becomes personal. Start practicing empathy now. Because someone else's child, someone else's loved one deserves the same care you would love to show your own. I hope this touches us where it is supposed to. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to share this. Someone out there might just need this to have a change of perspective. Thank you for listening.